What is this? Why are they adding another key item to doors? We already have 3 different types of lockpicks in the game. What possibly could this new one be for? Alright. Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. As you probably just heard, a brand new item was just revealed to be coming to doors. A new key, kind of like the skeleton key. However, that isn't all though, as in today's daily teaser, we not only received the reveal of that new item, but some changes also coming to pre-existing items in the game, such as the candle variants. And let me just say, these changes could be a little controversial, so I'm going to let my opinions out on them in this video. We have got a lot to cover today, so with all of that being said, let's begin. Alright, so this is what today's daily sneak peek is. It mainly focuses on changes coming to both the normal and Moonlight Candles. And as you can probably see, the reveal of a brand new key item is located in the inventory of this player. So before we get into this mysterious new item, which I'm sure you're all dying to hear about, let's first discuss what exactly is changing to the candles. Now, in case you weren't aware, the candle is a low-tier light source that is guaranteed to spawn at least once during a hotel playthrough. In order to be activated, players must either light it with a fireplace or use a lighter to ignite it. In most scenarios, it functions as an extension to the lighter item, allowing for more light emission for the cost of a small chunk of lighter durability, as well as an inventory slot for the item to actually fit inside of. So it is relatively useful. Apparently though, the item is going to be made even more powerful, which is a change I'm not sure I'm on board with. The 2 main additions to this item is that its durability will last 10 times longer and that it will now be guaranteed to spawn in the very first room of the hotel. The provided teaser image even shows the candle's new spawn location. Now, I for one believe that these changes will make the candle far too overpowered, but I feel they could be useful if their intensity was toned down a little. For starters, I don't think the candle should be guaranteed to spawn in the very first room of the hotel. As I said, this item mainly functions as an extension to the lighter, effectively making its durability last much longer, which although I'm fine with, it shouldn't be a functionality players get immediately at the start of each round. I much prefer how the candle spawning works currently, where only attentive players who actually explore the rooms inside of the hotel can actually obtain the item. Maybe as a compromise, the item should only be made to spawn in the first half of the game, so players don't get it too late, but I definitely think the element of randomness present with the candle should remain. Now, as for the candle having 10 times more durability, I just feel this change is unnecessary. As it stands, at least according to the Doors wiki, the candle has the most durability out of any item in the game, sitting at a whopping 2 minutes and 30 seconds. If the item lasted 10 times longer, it would emit light for over 20 minutes, which is a little over half the amount of time it takes to complete an entire hotel playthrough normally. It is crazy for a single light source to last that long. And considering how the cost of igniting it is very little, it effectively means darkness won't be an issue for half the game, which just doesn't seem that balanced. At most, I think the item could have its durability increased another minute, but not 10 times the amount it currently has. And if that was on top of how it's planned the candle will be guaranteed to spawn in room 1, it could possibly be the most broken and overpowered light source in the entire game. Really, the candle, in my opinion, works completely fine as is, and I don't think it needs any changes besides maybe small additions, such as being limited to only spawn in the first half of rooms and only slightly increasing its durability. I will admit that when it lost its entity detection ability in Floor 2, I was not a fan of the change, but now I realize that functionality was extremely overpowered in areas such as the greenhouse, and the item is well balanced now, and so I don't think that should be jeopardized. Moving on though, let's talk about the Moonlight Candle. This is an item obtained by putting a normal candle inside of a rift, causing it to convert into a Moonlight Candle. This item is not only permanently active, but it retains the entity detection ability present in the old version of the candle. Now, the main change coming to this item is that it will be receiving an infinite amount of durability, rather than eventually expiring. And unlike the changes with the normal candle, I am definitely on board with this addition. In the entire history of me playing Doors, I have never seen someone legitimately use a Moonlight Candle in a completely normal round. This is likely because the item is quite difficult to obtain, requiring players to essentially beat the hotel to just obtain it once. Letting the item have infinite durability would not only encourage players to use the item more often, but it would also make it worth its huge cost. As right now, although the Moonlight Candle is a pretty powerful item, the fact that it will eventually wear down could definitely be a drawback for players to actually go out of their way to obtain and use it. So I definitely think this change will be for the better. I also feel like it should be implemented into the Moonlight Float as well, as it also suffers from the same problem of being too time-consuming to obtain to ever warrant its use. Maybe if the Moonlight Float had 5 uses instead of just 1, it would be used more, but that's just an idea I had. Lastly though, it is finally time we talk about the new item in the teaser, this strange magnifying glass. If we take a look at the item's model, we can see it's actually a new type of key, given how its bottom resembles that of one. Now, this would mean a new key item is coming to the game, kinda like the skeleton key, but I highly doubt that. As I said in the intro, there are already 3 key-like items indoors, those being the lockpick, skeleton key, and shears. In fact, the developers struggled quite a bit when it came to implementing the shears due to how similar it was to the other key items, so adding a 4th one just doesn't seem realistic. Instead, I think the magnifying glass key is actually an item skin for one of the pre-existing key items, rather than an entirely new item. This actually makes a lot of sense, as we know item skins are going to be implemented into the next update. Now, as for what item this is a skin for, I'm unsure. If I had to guess, it's likely a lockpick or skeleton key skin, but it's impossible to confirm as of now. Anyways, to summarize, the candle indoors is going to be made 10 times stronger, and will always spawn in the very first room of the hotel, which are changes that I am heavily against. I think they should either be completely scrapped or heavily nerfed, as such an early game item shouldn't be that powerful. Additionally, the Moonlight Candle will be receiving infinite durability, which is a change I think should definitely be implemented, and I think the Moonlight Float should get similar treatment. Maybe not infinite uses, as that would be a little overpowered, but definitely more than one. Lastly, a new item skin was revealed to us, that being the magnifying glass skin for either the skeleton key or lockpick. So, with all of that being said, let me know in the comments what you think of all of these changes, as well as what you think the magnifying key is a skin for. And thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed!